Ah, buenas noches, damas y caballeros, y bienvenidos a Dividend Dive. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the Dividend Dive. I thought we'd go multi-language, multilingual, I think is the word that we're trying to use there. But hey, look at all you fine looking people. Thank you so very much for swinging on by the channel and hey, hanging out for a little bit. So, Jason, yeah, the market's closed tomorrow because we have President's Day, right? In the United States. Not to fear, man. I'm sure out there, like some of us, if you invest in SCHD, thought comes to mind, you invest in PepsiCo. There's drivers for PepsiCo right now that are transporting product all over the place. So you may not see it hit your account tomorrow. You may not see the stock price wiggling, going up and down, right? But there are real live human beings, we would hope, working at these businesses, some of them all the time, and they'll be working tomorrow. So we will still, yeah. I know, I get it too, man. I love it. I'm an addict. I'm like a crack addict. I'm always looking at the phone, right? Because I love seeing I don't know if it's, I don't know. I like seeing the tickers going up and down and fluctuating, and then I can get a little bit overreactionary to those. And hey, we don't panic sell around here anymore. We try not to. So yeah, what's up? We got Whiskey Tango, everybody. I think I saluted y'all, Pat, Fast Eddie. So very cool to see all you guys. Yeah, I didn't see BTI take a big hit. I did see Ian Lopic, the one, the only, what do we say? Often imitated, never duplicated. PPC Ian made a post on Blossom, about which I got that right here, my Blossom, the little flower. Ian Lopic made a post about it. And Frank, are you Frank V or are you a different Frank? Because I don't remember that little kitty cat avatar. I think I would remember seeing that. But yeah, we do like to see our savings work. Um, did you guys see? If you don't get the newsletter, I shared it. A little bit of a melting snowball with realty income, but hey, for the first time ever, here, let me just show you that real quick because it's kind of cool. Oh, Chris, thank God you're safe, man. I saw a couple people got shot there. I've never understood that when there was looting. I think it was not too bad, but still. Could you imagine when the Cubs won the World Series if I told my wife, like, yes, they won the World Series. Let's burn the house down. Literally, let's burn it all down. Like, what? So I don't get it why you would do that, but hey, to each their own. But yeah, yeah, Fast Eddie. We will look at Court, right? Is that the ticker? CORT. But I want to show you guys real quick what happened with if you get the newsletter, you already saw it, but if not, we'll at least fill you in. Kill two birds with one stone, right? Why is he killing birds, Daddy? He's a bad man. So here we go with wait. I always forget to do this. I want to give you more real estate. Boom, make it a little bit bigger. Sometimes it's good when things are bigger, right? But yeah, this Valentine's Day, this is what I got. This is what we got right here. Look at this. Ooh, don't focus on that. You're going to get dizzy. We received $56.76 in realty income dividends. And I bought a share of realty income for $55.19. The first time I've done that, use the dividends to fully buy, well, intentionally, because sometimes we let the dividends accumulate and they've worked their way in there. But yeah, how cool is that? So that was and then I just kind of talked about realty income and knowing why you own it. And yes, it doesn't beat the market, but I'll just end with, by the way, you can go to dapperdividends.com, click on newsletter, and you can read this. By the way, Jen, thanks for setting that website up. I haven't looked at it in a while. But, oh, this was a long one. Anyway, so here we go. The dividends received this week. $41 from AbbVie. Shout out if you got those two, ticker ABBV. $25.81 from Agree Realty, monthly company, monthly dividend payer. The Global X MLP and Energy ETF, ticker MLPX, $35.19. Main Street Capital, $37.50. And there's the Realty Income Dividends at $56.76. And I'll just wrap you up. $615 received in dividends so far. estimated about another 5,100 to go just in this account. Remember, this is not all of our investment accounts, but what we bought was a share of Realty Income. There you go. Two Nike at 72.40, up to 90 shares. So getting close to that 100 mark, and two SCHD at 27.89. So that is that. And yeah, we'll look at court. Let me write it down for you. So we get to, let's see, court for Eddie. When we get to that, I'm gonna hang with you guys for a minute though. We'll see. We'll get up. We'll look at stuff. You know what, man? That's fine with me because in my mind, I've had two dynasty team parades in a row, two in a row, the back to back, and Caleb Williams and DJ Moore helped me get that. So yeah, that's fine with me. I'm a fan of the NFL, right? Yeah, and same thing with O, Frank. Yeah, it's been a melting snowball, but I'm still getting dividends from it, and it's those are growing. So, uh, I touched on it in the letter that the higher for longer interest rates are going to weigh on that, and it's going to be less income that they're going to bring in when they have to deal with higher interest rates in the future. They'll probably have to refinance debt. That's kind of the game with a lot of these companies is it's like a right. It's the way I understand it is it's kind of a ticking clock before they can refinance debt, and if they have to refinance it at higher levels, you know, it's not going to look so good for some companies. But I can tell that's too hot. We don't want to burn our mouth already. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Jason D. JD. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey, I hope I could buy more in the 60s. I was kind of upset that it was only in the 60s for a minute. But honestly, I'm thinking about long term, dude. Long term, unless something fundamentally changes. But again, I like the direction they went. I shared it a little bit in the last video with um, Nike. They got rid of John Donahoe. He retired, stepped down, whatever you want to call it. He got pushed out, but he was a tech guy. He was an industry outsider. I mean, look, he was what Bain and Company or Bain Capital? No, Bain and Company. He was CEO there. He was CEO of PayPal. No, CEO of eBay, excuse me, and CEO of ServiceNow. So John Donahoe was a tech guy, but Elliot Hill, Nike's new CEO, spent 32 years with the company, started as an intern in 1988. The guy loves Nike and he understands the industry. So if he can't turn this, I don't know if it's a turnaround. It's more like correcting the strategic missteps of previous management, I think. But I think the brand is still strong. I went for a mall walk today. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't know, but it's cold here in Chicago. So wanted to get the lay of our mall. I got my tracker and I wanted to see how many laps I would have to do to make a mile. And a lot of Nike products, a lot of Nike products in the stores, a lot of Nike products on people. People wearing Air Jordans that look like they don't play basketball. So it's obviously a fashion statement, which is funny, but hey, German, what's up, man? So for dividends, can you open an account with Vanguard? So you might have to expound on that a little bit, but yeah, anybody can open an account with Vanguard unless you are in Germany. I don't know how that works. I'm here in the United States, of course. So does anybody watching, does anyone have any color to add to that about if you are in a foreign country, which some of you I know are you able are you able to open an account with Vanguard, or do you have to be stateside or Canada? Somebody let us know. Yeah, Simon Group. That's one I probably should have held a little longer. I had bought them after the pandemic, but oh, even easier, buddy. Yeah, then open up a Vanguard account. Free to open. Um, I think I shared with you guys on one video, right? Or did I do it live? Where if you open an account with Schwab, you can get access to Morningstar reports. It's not as slick as Robinhood, of course, but it has a wealth of resources I think that are definitely helpful. And and useful. Oh, speaking as helpful and useful, I got a kind of a funny thing here for you guys. I was poking around on CEO buys, and let me set this up. Check this out. Once I bring you guys. So what do you mean, German? Put that a different way. What do you mean for dividends? Do you just mean an account where you can receive dividends? Is that what you're asking? Here we go. So here's something that was kind of funny. So here we are on CEO buys. Remember, if you go to CEO buys, this is what you do. It shows, as they say, real-time notifications when CEOs, the chief executive officers, buy shares of their own companies with their own money, and they'll say it somewhere. They're not using any kind of options or vesting, none of that stuff. It's with their own money. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, right here where there's a search bar, if you click browse all buys, yeah, it's a little clunky and you got to think to check in, but they will show you the CEOs that are buying shares of their own companies. So I poked on this over the weekend and I was like, Rick, our old friend, RCI Hospitality. And if you don't know RCI Hospitality, let me pull this up so I can go to that. I should have had it set up, but IHOSP, here we go. All right, so we'll do that. Okay, so, but getting back to the CEO buys, there we go. So you can see the CEO of RCI Holdings, where he's bought. So he bought, the way that this reads, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO bought 1,000 shares at $50.54, and that is a 0.142% increase in the amount of shares that they have, and he now has, yeah, I guess that's cumulative. I'm looking down here where it was 704,870, so it looks like it, unless they didn't tabulate those in yet, because that would be a decrease. Yeah, okay, so this is what he does. Interesting. He buys 1,000 shares. So he bought 1,000 in 3 years ago at 78, and now he's buying it at 50. Maybe he doesn't know valuation of his company, but some of you are watching like, what does RCI Hospitality do? Well, here you go. Well, this is an adult show, right? Adult channel, but RCI Hospitality, ticker RICK. They have nightclubs and sports bars. And where is their, is it nightclubs they calling them? Yeah, here you go. So if you buy ticker RICK, you can become a sleazy strip club owner, and you will own companies like Rick's Cabaret, Tootsie's, Scarlett's, Vivid Cabaret. Look at all of them. You even get to the crazy girls, Chicas Locas, right? Baby dolls, and they just go on and on. So hey, have your hand at the depravity and degradation of society and tell all your friends, put it in your Christmas card, I am a strip club owner. And they also own magazines and a few other things, but that's their, oh, look at that. They have one club in Chicago. I don't even know which it is, but anyway, so there you go. That's RCI Hospitality Holdings. Now you know, and as G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. So cheers. Yeah, Michael, you're right. So from what I understand, well, because I looked into them a little bit, Bombshells it's basically a military themed Hooters, or you know how, what's the one by me? It's escaping my mind. The Timber Lodge one. Oh my God. Concerning, slightly concerning. I can't think of it because I drive by it often. Twin Peaks. There you go. It's it's Twin Peaks, and yeah. But Bombshells is kind of like that, and I guess they wanted to open up a few more. So there you go. You can buy with the CEO, but hey, if you followed him and bought at 78 bucks, it's at 50 bucks now. So I don't know. Michael, possibly you and I too. I don't know if Rick's owned them, but yes, my wife will get on me about that and say, "Boy, imagine when you were a young sailor and you spent most of your money. I remember I always tell you guys, where did most of daddy's money go? Drinking, gambling, and women, and gentlemen's clubs is part of that women in there. And yeah, she's like, if you just invested that money, I know, but I didn't. I can't change the past. And, I know I would like to say that I invested in some good memories, but quite honestly, they're just fuzzy memories. It was money wasted, but hey, you know what? What are you going to do when you're 18 to 21? You don't have a girlfriend at some points and you're you're away from home. Money burns a hole in your pocket pretty dang quick, especially coming from a lower middle class family and upbringing. So, oh, dude, I did not know that. That's a funny. Is there a slang name for that strip club indicator? I didn't see this, Frank. As long as you have an EIN to pay taxes. I don't know if that you mean on dividends you're paying. I don't know. I might have missed that, but yeah, since nobody's got anything in there, let's look at. I'll tell you what, Steve, we will do what you asked, and I got to write it down because we'll do a live screen for. So you wanted? I'll show you. Yeah, we'll do a live screen. Sorry, let me write this down, Steve. I want to get it right. So you want a safety score of 99, high credit score, and at least a 3% yield. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, we won't read each, we'll scroll through, but I'm not going to dive deep into each one. And then I want to look at court for Eddie. Yeah, we'll look at court. All right, let's do that. You guys are awesome. I love that. So, hey, where else can you talk about? Hey, that could be your Halloween costume. Just buy you buy a fractional share of Rick. Oh, and undervalued. Okay, Steve, I gotcha. The more you put in, the less results you get. But yeah, you could tell all your friends that you're a sleazy strip club owner. You're like, I own 18 strip clubs. All right, let's see here. All right, I gotta share this. Oh, well, I guess we're here. We'll do news and then we'll roll right into court and then do Steve's screen. So buckle in, everybody. Oh my God, that's too hot. And there's a lot of news. So as always, you might have to pause the video if you want to read some of these and look at the undervaluation and whatever. But let's go quick here. So Polaris, their dividend coverage fades and they were downgraded to 60. Got this too big. PSEG, ticker PEG, raised their dividend 5%. 99, very safe. New Jersey-based utility. Look at that. They've paid uninterrupted dividends since 1907. T-Row, a lot of you I know were buying the dip on them. They raised their dividend 2.4%. That's their 39th straight year of increasing payouts. Outlook was refreshed on Royal Bank of Canada, ticker RY. Gilead, ticker GILD, raised that dividend 2.6%. Little tiny raises, right? Barely pacing inflation, and dang, their stock prices shot up. Let's go quick. Matthews. Oh, this is one of ours a couple of years ago. Some of you might remember I did something like dividend stocks to die for, and it was those that are dealing with caskets or cremation or cemeteries. But I think Matthews, one of their divisions is I believe they make caskets and urns, something like that. But they got a dividend downgrade because their payout ratio hits a decade high. So they sold SGK. I wonder if that was, I don't know, their brand for the caskets. Not going to do that because we got a lot to get to. Cisco raised the dividend 2.5%. Some of you I know were hoping for a bigger raise there from Cisco. Railroad company CSX, 8.3% dividend increase. Very nice. And there's, exactly what they say here. Hard to disrupt, an iconic railroad company remains a cash cow. I've been thinking about railroad companies, but then it's like, I always think, they're just so dang boring, but that's what we want, right? But their yield, 1.56%, and they do look to be undervalued, according to Simply Safe. Moving along, Iron Mountain, 10% dividend raise, 9.8% for Iron Mountain. I remember when they were in the 60s. Should have bought them. Can't buy them all, right? It's not Pokemon. You don't have to catch them all. PPL raised their dividend 5.8%. There's a lot. There's a lot this week. Equinix, 10% dividend increase. And there you go. Because of shares outstanding, it shows them as reasonably valued with a dividend of a share price of $933. So remember, just because it's $933 does not make it expensive, and a company that's 25 bucks is inexpensive or cheap. It's all about profitability, shares outstanding, and I'm gonna get, here we go. We'll play the game. I'm gonna guess there's less than 20 million shares outstanding for Equinix. And if you're playing at home, I did not look, but I was way off. 95.8 million shares outstanding. That's surprising, but that must mean they have a lot of AFFO per share, which they do, $35. So again, I kind of, crap the bet on that one. But anyway, so that's why they have a crazy ton of adjusted funds from operation, because they are a data center REIT. Getting there. Tractor Supply, TSCO, raised the dividend 4.5%. That's their 16th consecutive year. A big dividend downgrade for Diversified Chemical Company. Huntsman. I was trying to get the name all slick. Cyclical slump sinks. Jeez. Cyclical slump sinks Huntsman's profits, putting dividend at risk. Careful if you invest in Huntsman. A couple more. TC Energy out in Canada up there. They raised the dividend 3.3%. NextEra, a lot of you like NextEra, ticker NEE. 10% dividend hike. Very, very nice. And they look very undervalued too, according to SimpliSafe. And they also have an A- credit rating. So, hey, that's what I might have to take a little bit more deeper of a look at. But yeah, anyway, what do you guys think about NextEra? And they refresh an outlook on Con Ed. All right, sorry guys, let's do one quick here. We'll do Court. Oh, Eddie, they don't pay a dividend. Doesn't mean, I invest in Harrow Incorporated, but all right, we'll do super quick. Let's see how long they've been around. There you go. If you want to read the outlook on them, 1998. They are in Menlo Park. Free cash flow per share kind of, it's fell and then it's stabilized. See if there's anything crazy. Very good sales growth. They're buying back shares. That's nice to see. Total sales that's a really strong total sales up and to the right. Like to see that. The return on invested capital. If anybody wants to know a simple explanation between ROCE, return on capital employed, which is a couple super investors convinced me that's the one I should be looking at, and ROIC, we can talk about that later. Remind me or put it in the chat. Yeah, very, very strong margins, man, and apparently no net debt. So just looking at the number for Corcept Therapeutics Incorporated, man, I would give it a thumbs up to say, do a bit of a deep dive there. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will run a live screen. We're doing this live and without a net. I'm going to reset. We'll include my holdings. Steve wants a, what did you say? You didn't tell, we'll just do borderline safe and up. And a dividend yield of over 3%. There you go. Get you that. You also wanted valuation of undervalued. Get you that. A couple more filters here. You got, what else did you want? Oh, the credit score. Credit rating, very strong. I think that's what you wanted, right? Very strong credit rating, and we're down to 4 matches. So there you go, Steve. With your filters, I think we got them all. Yeah. Everything you wanted. You got Nestle. Well, 2 Nestles. I don't know the difference. Does anyone know the difference between these two? Their share price is very similar, but NSRGF and NSRGY, the 2 Nestles. So it's kind of one. Johnson & Johnson, ticker J&J, and Equinor, Integrated Oil and Gas Company, ticker EQNR, and they actually have a negative dividend growth. So out of these, man, there you go, Nestle and J&J, but slow dividend growth on Nestle. But there you go, man. So, hey, there you go. Oof. Man, oh man, we made that. All right, now let's see what you guys are. Yeah, we talked on that, man. I love it, Michael. Me too, probably. Did they have any Rick hold? Where were you in those? Because I was in. Let's see. Where did I leave money? Hey, I'm a global. I spent globally, so I left money in Norfolk, Virginia, Florida, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Also, also our friends. We don't want to leave the Aussies out. Australia, not in Dubai. I don't think they allowed those there back in the 90s. Didn't see them in Dubai. So Perth, Western Australia, Hobart, Tasmania, Hawaii, uh, and then San Diego for sure. A lot of money left in San Diego, Tijuana, and uh, what's the Victoria, British Columbia. So there you go. On the on the um, on the West Coast, man, I was multinational. Hit Tijuana, San Diego slash Orange County slash LA, and Victoria, British Columbia. So a lot of money. And what do I have to show for it? Not a damn thing, but telling you guys. Oh, Andrew, man, it's okay. The show doesn't get started. Now that you're here, it's party and we can relax. I was just killing time until you got here, Andrew. Kevin, I heard that you were sick. Hope you feel better, man. Monday night I start to do research and stuff. So, all right. Oh man, dude. Uh, Now that could be a double entendre. I know you spelt dying wrong, but if it was a tool and die company, right? Could be DIE, dying. But yeah, it is dying. Hey, and right, death and taxes. So people are always going to die, and law says you can't just bury your grandparents or whoever out in the backyard. You have to have yeah, Iron Mountain. That's one that I remember. I didn't fully. Oh, by the way, I just realized the shirt I'm wearing. This is called the Hobo Hat, Cat and Hat. Where I got it from, but I wore that when I was traveling, and TSA, lovely TSA woman said, "That the cat in the hat?" And I was like, "You know what? It is a cat in the hat, not the cat in the hat, but a cat in a hat." So my wife found this somewhere for me, but fun. Cats in a top hat with a monocle. I don't remember. Geez, looking nice. Goldman Sachs, I think you're talking about, right? Jay, you say that Nextera is the best regulated utility, solid dividend growth. Man, I can't argue with it. It looks really solid, but I thought there was the reason it's so beaten down is some of their shift to renewables looks like it might not pay off. So the market's a little sketchy on if that's going to come to fruition, right? So I think that's why they're kind of down. Why is oh there we go. Why is the ADR and F is the Hindi Malaysia equivalent? I think. Yeah, that's interesting. So the American Depository Receipt, right? And that's something that I don't know. Do you guys feel the same with ADRs that I don't feel like I truly own the stock because I own a receipt issued from a bank that says we bought shares in this stock and you can give us your money and we'll give you a receipt saying yeah you own this stock. So yeah, dude, I didn't see. Did Wendy's cut? Yeah, not Simply Safe doesn't have everything, man. I mean, it does not have everything, but yeah, let me see if they at least have it in their dividend chart. No, they don't. So they show that it was flat still, but their last oh they do have it. Okay, here, let me show you. Let me throw this on there, Steve. But I gotta find my tab here. Let me bring you to Wendy's. Maybe there's something we can learn. There's probably a teachable lesson from this. We could do a post-mortem, right? Kind of like when human beings die or companies fail, you do a post-mortem and see what's going on. Right? There must have been lots of cures and things from people that died that we cut open and we studied and said, so that's why. Wow, $14 a share. That's fallen. So they have a very weak credit rating of B plus, and yeah, B plus the D is junk grade. And just junk grade means it's a higher risk investment. Doesn't mean quote unquote junk, like it's a junk stock, but I don't know why they gave it junk, but it just means you're going to get um, there's just more risk involved in that, and you'll probably get a higher yield than like a Johnson and Johnson. Except no, because J&J is right around 3 and 3.37 or something. I think I saw. Anyway, what we're doing, we're supposed to be on a minute here. Oh, look at that. They cut the dividend during the recession. So, but here we go. Their dividend growth, 0 years. They showed it flat, and that's one of the telltale signs when they've been raising and it goes flat. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. So they cut during the GFC, then they raised it all the way until COVID, and they cut the dividend, but not to zero or anything. So there you go, Steve. It looks like the annual payout now is going to be 56 cents down to $14 per share per quarter until they raise it again. But it's still a shade above where it was in December of 22. But let's see their payout ratio. Yeah, they think they're speculative. It could be undervalued. Let's see. Yeah, I wonder why did they cut it? So the earnings payout ratio was above, but free cash flow payout ratio is only 78. That's manageable. So I wonder if anybody has any information on why they cut it. I don't see anything too crazy. They're still buying back shares. The return on invested capital is low. But in return on equity, that can be skewed by debt, from what I understand. Free cash flow. You know what? Oh, their debt's a little bit high and it's been creeping up. So maybe that's why they're trying to preserve the. They're getting nervous. Did they have new management? I don't remember. I don't remember about Wendy's, but we. Yeah, nice catch, man. Yeah, and again, Simply Safe doesn't have everything. Oh, Michael, you spent the original Rick's Cabaret, high end and a major talent scout location for men's magazines in Houston. Normally the two, I did hear that Chicago related news. I think Playboy for the first time in a long time, and this was on WGN, which is owned by Nexstar Media, ticker NXST. They said that Playboy is putting out a print issue for the first time in I don't know how many years, if I heard that right. But so how many years do I keep a spin-off before you decide to sell it? Well, it depends on what it is, Trevon. And I sold, so as I say, when Realty Income shat out Orion, right? Orion it was called. It was they must have seen the writing on the wall. They spun out all their office properties except for I think one or two. I think they held on to the headquarters for Walgreens, which is in Deerfield, Illinois. I believe they held on to that and maybe one other, but everything else they just they wrapped it up in a bow, put it into ONL. Let's look at that. I think Trevon, I think it is ONL. Let's see what I have lost complete track of ONL. I sold that one pretty quick because let's see. Oof, $4. It's a penny stock. I think I sold it around 12. Yeah, and so in Orion Office REIT was formed in 2021 when Realty Income's shat out the substantially all of its office properties. Yeah, bucket of yuck is this. So they haven't raised the dividend and they just, yeah, I'm glad I got rid of this one, but we don't need to look too much more. It was just, anyway. So Orion Office, that one, I held on to it for a little bit and I thought about it and I was like, It's interesting. Realty Income is getting rid of this, and it was before the whole potential like office Armageddon thing came about, when it was in vogue to get rid of your office properties and anything that had exposure to office properties. But yeah, I just didn't want to own it. I didn't want to hold it. Um, Kenview, I didn't take shares of. So dude, it all depends on what it is, what your exposure to it looks like, if it fits in with your goals and your investing goals. And yeah, sometimes though the spin-offs do really well, but as we saw with ONL, you know. So, dude, there really isn't a good answer for how long do you keep a spin-off, but you don't ever have to sell it. Think of AbbVie, right? In 2012, Abbott spun out AbbVie, which I think is it encompasses like pharmaceuticals, right? The international pharmaceuticals, something like that. That has now done better than the, I don't know what you call Abbott, the spinner, the spinner and the spinny. I know that's completely just making up financial phraseology that doesn't exist, but the spun out company is now more valuable than the company that spun it out. That makes sense. So it really depends. It's a case by case basis, and hopefully, people that received AbbVie that owned Abbott never sold it. Oh, Vince, what's up, man? I don't think you and I have spoken before. I'll cheers you on that. Nestle is a strong company. The ADR, aren't they selling they're selling the frozen, right? The frozen treats and frozen foods. I don't remember if it was just frozen treats or anything. Their frozen division. I think I remember reading that. So I don't know if I don't think they spun that out, but I think they might have just sold it. The ADR is subject to a 15% foreign tax. You can claim it later, plus ADR fee on top of US taxes. Dude, yeah, thanks for sharing that. And that's something that you have to think about, because that dividend, if you're buying it just for a dividend, that's going to be eaten into by that. And I do know ADR fees can be low, but still, it's still a fee. It's still something you have to think about. Hey Jim, thanks for sharing your thoughts in your newsletter. Appreciate that. Or in your newsletter. No, you responded to my newsletter. So unless you have a newsletter and I'm just not aware of it. But yeah, you say Wendy's plans to repurchase up to 200 million of its shares. Ah, so is that what they're doing? So did they? Well, you would think they'd want to pay down debt. I mean, because that debt was getting high. So I guess they're going to keep a smaller dividend and buy back more shares as a way to return capital to shareholders. Because remember, right? A lot of people like Warren Buffett don't like to pay dividends because they're taxed twice, right? Once at the corporate level and once at the individual level. Oh, they do pay that annual dividend payment too. Yeah, you know. Fast Daddy, I'll take your word for it, man. I don't eat at Wendy's. I don't even remember the last time I did. My wife is a lunatic. She loves to get every once in a blue moon the frosty and the fries, and you dip the fries in the frosty. Oh my goodness, Trevor. Oh, I'm so sorry for that, man. I don't want to make you feel bad. I don't know if that's coming back at this point, man. You have almost 1,000 shares. I'm thinking you're saying of ONL. Uh, just take that. What's that dividend they're spitting at you each year? 40 cents, man. I guess just consider it a loss unless you have a better use for that money. And that's the only other thing I would say is there's always an opportunity cost though. So that's a tough one, because I think when I sold it was at like 11-ish. Because I think when we got it, it was right like 14, 15, 16, somewhere like that. Yeah, Abbott is the parent company. Thanks, Jim. That makes more sense instead of calling them the spinner and AbbVie the spinny. So, yeah. Procter and Gamble's going to buy shares too. I don't remember what are you talking about, Frank, with Procter and Gamble buying shares of Wendy's or shares of the Nestle's frozen business? Is that what you're talking about? Hey, Paolo. Can I look at CCI stock? Yeah. Well, I'll see why. I mean, I'll just look at the numbers and we'll see if what is this? Crown Castle, right? That's the oh, it's buybacks, Frank. Gotcha. That is the telecom tower, right? Yeah, let's look at it, man. I have not looked at that in a hot minute. Oh, let me share the screen here because otherwise you're just going to look at me looking at a computer screen, which is riveting, I know. And if you're weird and you're into that, hey, that's cool. But most of you want to want to look at what I'm looking at. You don't want to look at me looking at what you want to look at. You see? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I done talked myself into a circle. I don't remember what I was doing. CCI. My brain was like, some gum, you overloaded me. You can't do that. Ooh, unsafe. Really? Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. So, yeah, there's large cap, 38 billion, moderately strong credit rating, 7% dividend yield. Looks like they're not growing it. They were downgraded on December of 2024. And for you, you can pause this. I'll tell you what I'll do. But this is a report from Simply Safe. And I'll just slowly go through it. I'll stop it where the screen was. You can read this, pause your video if you want, because it costs a pretty penny for this. So I'm not going to sit here and read this, but if anybody wants to read about Crown Castle, there you go. But they think the rebased dividend will likely follow. So, well, I'm not going to comment on it because I don't want to read here. That would be boring. But yeah, so they've been, wow, look at that. In 2019, they were at 61 safe, and they've just kept getting downgraded. Let's see. So 9 years dividend growth. Looks like the dividend might be frozen now. I'm sure they told why. If I read that, we'd be filled in exactly. But here's the numbers. So the dividend's frozen. They haven't cut it yet. Yeah, definitely looks cheap. Holy cow. That dividend yield is the 5-year average is 3.5%. We're up at 7%. The market is screaming that something is not right here and something wicked this way comes kind of thing. And the PE price, the price to adjusted funds from operation also is way, way below. So yeah, this, see AFFO payout ratio 90%. That's getting up there. Not complete danger zone, but definitely danger zone almost. Even though I just said, don't you like that? Because I'm reading the next thing. Like I'm like, oh yeah, it's 90%. It's not at the danger zone yet, but yeah, 90%. So definitely at the danger zone. Some people, including me, are like, what in the hell is this guy talking about? Anyway, AFFO per share is coming down a little bit, so that's no bueno. Negative growth. Yeah, so negative growth. Yeah, they're still diluting just a little bit, but not actually they haven't really put out many shares since 2021. Yeah, revenue is starting to take a hit. So I would have to know why. I've not really. So what they do, the telecom tower business, from what I understand, they lease out space on their towers to like Verizon and T-Mobile and AT&T and all that. But yeah, it seems like it should be a good business model. But if anybody has any insight, yeah, their net debt's really getting high, and the interest coverage ratio is coming down. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It definitely looks speculative, but the market's saying something is definitely something's coming, man. The spinner and the spinny. Yeah, we make up words here all the time. Hey, it's what you get when you got a welder sharing his passion for passive income, right? Thoughts on, yeah, we'll give it a minute, Matt. Don't let me forget. We still got some time together. Time together with all of you. Oh, something else I was going to mention. No. Oh, you know what I did? Funny on Best Buy. So the old laptop I used to use, it was an HP Pavilion gaming laptop. It's been over here in collecting dust for a year and a half. I don't remember what I paid for it, but I want to say it was somewhere in the vicinity of 700. We paid for it 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. No, 5 years ago. And I was like, you know what? My daughters don't want it. So I'm like, I need to get some money for this thing. I want to sell it online. Turns out, after calling around a few places, they said Best Buy will buy it. Went online, you do like, you put in the model or whatever it is, and they said, it said $105. My wife's doing it. I was like, you're kidding me. Brought it over to Best Buy, printed out the sheet. Sure enough, they give you a gift card though. So we walked out of Best Buy with a $105 gift card. And I'm like, well, we really don't buy anything from Best Buy, but honestly, I'd rather have $105 to spend at Best Buy than this old laptop I don't use anymore. So Matt, we will look at AWK in a minute. Oh, Chet, what's up, man? You've been MIA. No, you know what, man? We got yeah, I'll look at these for you guys. So I don't want to forget Matt and Eddie. No, Gant. You know, I write them down now. Write them down. It's a sign of he's getting old, huh? You wanted AWK and you wanted DHI. Oh, dude, DHI. We just did DR Horton on the last video. So I'll just spin through it really quick. But Eddie, I did not see her live. I saw the notification, but again, I'm out running around doing things. Um, oh, he's running and listening. Dude, why you gotta listen to music, Craig? I was gonna say Stan, Craig. But hey, you know, you're weird like that. I'm not gonna judge you. You know, I'm like a bartender. I don't judge. I just serve up hopefully more good stuff. All right, so Crown Castle wants to sell its fiber division. You know, it's funny. I was listening to, speaking of fiber, I forgot the word silicon photo. They just talked about it on the Barron's podcast where they're talking about in data centers and computing replacing the copper wiring with silicon. Oh, I told my wife about it. It's using photons. It's really cool. It uses photons to transmit data. Of course, I forgot the name of it. If anybody knows, it uses photons to transmit data, and it's really cool. It keeps things cool because it dissipates heat really well, where copper doesn't, and you have to have these cooling systems built in. But yeah, I think they said Tower Semiconductor was a company that was making those. They don't pay a dividend. I know I looked, but all right. So anyway, let's look up those last couples for you guys. Hey, you guys. Oh, Lisa. Yeah, what happened with Lisa's live today, man? Tell me. I want to know. I didn't. Hopefully, nothing bad, right? I do have a thought. I was hoping she was here. I wanted to share a thought. Something I learned in the past that definitely helped. But while I'm looking at these, Eddie, please do share why you brought that up. But let's look at these couple ones. We'll look at DR Horton. So yeah, I threw them in the video because they have a really nice return on capital employed, easy business to understand. You see, I'm trying to type in DR Horton and I'm typing in roast. I'm like Eddie Van Halen. Do you know he couldn't sing and play guitar? So dividend safety score of 85, very safe, man. I'm going to go through this quick. Looks reasonably valued. I do like how they grow the dividend. They did cut it during the last recession in 07 to 09. 11 years dividend growth. They've been growing it very fast, but yeah, it was frozen solid for about what, 5-6 years. There you go. So there's the payment details. They go ex-dividend May 1st. You want to get that next 40 cent a share dividend, buy in. Reasonably valued. So there's some of the other valuation data, they call it. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's at an okay, it's at the end of its low end of its 52-week price range. But yeah, stupidly low free cash flow payout ratio. They can easily cover and grow that dividend. And they've been over earning quite a bit too. Look at all that free cash flow per share because we need homes built. Everyone has a golden mortgage like I do, 2.25%. I ain't selling. So nobody's selling. So we're going to have to build homes to get people, first time home buyers and such. Total sales. Oh, wait, what were we at? Sales growth. Yeah, sales growth. Look, it's been dropping since 21. So that might be some of the worry. They're still buying back shares. Total sales flattened out just a little bit. Yeah, really good margins. Really solid. Very, very low net debt. So I agree with that safety score of very safe. And yeah, I mean, that's why I include them on the video. They have a, oh, it was a 30 something return on capital employed. And then Matt, you were first. I'm so sorry, man. I think AWK is going ex-dividend this week too. American Waterworks, safety score of 70, looks way undervalued. We're always gonna need water, right? Water and wastewater services to over 3 million customers across 14 states. So they get a safe score. They increased the dividend during the last recession. That's nice to see. Very fast dividend growth, 15 years growing. Just a nice ski slope or ramp. I guess that's like an Evel Knievel ramp, huh? You don't want to slope down with your dividend. You want to go up. You want the Evel Knievel ramp. Shout out if anybody ever watched Evel Knievel on TV and felt really nervous when his live thing, he was doing those crazy jumps. Yeah, showing like it could be way undervalued. And I wonder why it is so. See, this is again the market just, and this is what's cool when you look at this enough. You know, from the dividend yield being so high and their forward PE being so low, but where the 5-year averages, the market is saying something's up. Like, hey, hey, there's a red flag over here. You got to look into this, huh? So their earnings payout ratio is low, growing. So far, I don't see any reason with the numbers why, but there's got to be some reason why it's so beaten down. Sales growth is still good. I mean, a little bit of dilution going on, but hopefully they're using that to pay down debt. Total sales still going up. Yeah, margins are decent. Yeah, operating margins still good, very good. And they're paying down some debt. So I don't know, man. I don't know why they look solid, but you would have to get your Sherlock Holmes hat on and looking. No, it's not. It's not. Oh, dang it! I should have wrote it down. It's called. Let me see if I can find it. It was really cool. I was reading about it. I think silicon, not photonics. I think it is. No, it was using photons for data transmission. This is gonna kill me because yeah, it's the technology of transmitting data by utilizing light particles to carry information, typically through optic fibers. So that's what it is, and I can't find the name. Google Barron's podcast. They had. Yeah, all right, I'm not gonna look anymore, but now it's gonna drive me crazy. It's gonna drive me nuts, right? But optical. Well, yeah, you're probably right. Um, dude, I'm impressed using photons to transmit data instead of copper because it just dissipates heat. It's very cool. I think that's cool, man. So American Water is your water supplier. Never had any issues. Yeah, so this one, you know what? Let's do this, Matt, because you're cool and uh let me see if I can we'll go to Seeking Alpha. Let me share that tab. See if we can see. Put our Sherlock Holmesian hat on. By the way, we're pricing out our London trip. Good God. good God, is that going to be expensive? And you know what? But I gotta do it. I gotta do it. It's looking like London and Scotland probably about 10K or 12 to 15K on the high end. We might be spending for everything, but all right. Here we go. Focus. What am I doing? All right. I think I'm sharing this. Yes, I am. I do. I have my phone going because sometimes I gotta know that I'm. What were we looking at? AWK. Let's see if any of the analysts tell real quick. So Seeking Alpha gives it the analyst gives it a buy, the quant gives it a hold. And sometimes you can very quickly use just the news and the analysis. But look at this. Jason Fieber gave it a buy on February 3rd. Cody's Dividends gave it a buy on December 19th. Harold Goldmeyer gave it a hold. Yeah, another buy from Cody's Dividends. So nobody's. Yeah, I don't see why it's so. Maybe Harold has some insight, but look at Jason Fieber on February of 24 also gave it a buy. Anyway, yeah, I don't see any reason why. They have this analyze with AI tab. So let's see if it gives any. This is like one of their tools they created to utilize, uses AI to build a little report for you. But I think there's let's see, positive revision concerns. Here you go. American Waterworks stock is considered overvalued compared to sector medians. Okay, so comparing it to the peers. The company's increasing long-term debt, which reached $12.5 billion in mid-2024, raises concerns about its financial leverage and future borrowing capacity, and the concentration of its customer base in a few states poses a risk as regulatory or natural disaster events in key markets could adversely affect its growth. Well, anyway, so I don't see any giant red flags there, Matt. So good luck, man. You'd really have to do some digging and ask around and whatnot. Same proton is just another way of saying light. Fiber optic has always been that way. Shows what I know, right? I do heavy equipment and a little bit of electrical work. So it's kind of funny in my job. Sometimes I have to look at some, like the basic on electrics. Like I got it. I can wire things. I can read a diagram and follow it. But when it gets sometimes complicated, my out is I just tell people, I'm like, hey, you see that big crane on the back of my truck? I do like the heavy equipment. Welding is where it's at, But I can work my way around a wiring diagram. Hey, no problem, Matt. You can call me your Watson anytime. Yeah, I would love to know, man. We keep in touch through these chats, and I see over on Ryan's stream, but uh, I don't know. It looks really cheap, and yeah, I have no idea why. Dude, see, that is cool. That's cool. Technology is great. I was just telling my daughter that I heard someone say that my grandkids or my daughter's grandkids will not have driver's licenses because there'll be no need for it, that everything will just be fully autonomous driving. Is it called FAD? Fully autonomous driving? No, I don't think so. And you won't need a driver's license. It'd be stupid. People are like, why would you drive? Be like, why would you ride a horse? I'm going to ride a horse to California. Why wouldn't you fly, right? So you can show a flashlight into a fiber optic cable that's 1,000 miles long, and you'll see the light come out the other side. That is just, you own glow, man. I'm not gonna look through my search history because I was reading it. It's on my phone. We're up against it here, but yeah, it was. That's something to watch for in data as we move further into that. So we'll see. Apparently, it's a little more expensive. It's gonna kill me. I can't think of the name. Anyway, if you have a podcast player, look at the last Barron's Streetwise with Jack Howe. He talks to Mehdi Hosseini, I think. It's like their data guy or a big tech guy that, not theirs, but a big tech. somebody that's in the know, I guess. And he was talking about some interesting things like that. So I think it's cool, but man, that moves so quick. And I think when we saw the DeepSeek thing hit and the market freaked out, grant we take China with a grain of salt because they can just make stuff up. But I don't know, man. People freaked out, and I wouldn't be surprised because technology just moves so freaking quick. But uh, actually, I think no, who was I? I don't know. I listen and read so much, everyone, but they were saying that when the computation reaches its peak, reaches its peak, reaches its peak, we're still going to, or like for Nvidia, they were making a bull case for Nvidia, saying that the chips are still going to be needed because the computation is always going to be there. I think is what it said, but hey, I don't know. It's I try to understand it, but even when I start to get a grasp, I think like, dude, it just moves so freaking quick. And yeah, I have trouble understanding the chips, like silicon chips, but I understand potato chips, like Doritos, right? You go to the store, you try the Kroger brand Doritos, not very good. the PepsiCo, the Frito-Lay Doritos, that's a strong brand that I understand that I no longer invest in directly, but hey, I got it through SCHD. So, holy cow! Well, there we go. Bank of America believes the S&P 500 about 40%. You know what, man? I don't know. I'll still be here investing. I don't care. Whatever. Because then you're trying to time the market. I think the only time you would really, really care about that is if you were about to or are living on fixed income and you are worried about a 40% drop, would those companies cut their dividend and that affects your fixed income? But if not, if you're young and you got a lot of years, that would be a fantastic time to just keep picking up more. And I think that's one of the bulwarks of dividend investors or for dividend investing is that, just great companies, hopefully still going to keep paying that dividend through a recession like some of them have been doing. And hey, it'll help you stay invested and you won't panic because you're still getting your dividend checks and you can buy shares at a cheaper valuation. So I don't know, but that's another one, dude. And dudettes, nobody told me what Lisa's thing was about, so maybe next time you can remind. Oh, I will say it. I will say it. I know I'm wrapping up here, but real quick about that, what I learned is, and Lisa, if you're listening, I say this with love, but I wonder if, and I don't know how the response is, but I wonder if you're into too many things, meaning like, talking crypto, bonds, Department of Government Efficiency, dividends, all this. Like, from what I've learned, people that don't know us because we're, not Dave Ramsey, people need to be able to put us in a box. And like Ryan and myself and some others, like we're dividend focused. We'll talk some other things a little bit here and there, but that's our box that you can put us into. Is this are dividend people? I want to know about dividend stuff. I go to these people. So, whatever it's, I don't know. Maybe you're the exception and you'll prove me wrong. But anyway, so that's what I wanted to say. That's all I got to say about that. So that's that. This is this. It's been another week. Okay. No market on Monday, President's Day, but just as I'm here tonight, I'll be here again next Sunday, talking with all of you. Bring some questions, things to look at. That was fun running a screen. I do like that, Steve, and everyone too. Take it easy tomorrow. It's President's Day, and the market will pop back open on Tuesday. So thanks again, everybody, and I really do appreciate you. See ya.